Following a memorial service at St. Anne's Catholic Church, friends of Martin gathered at Cactus Music to raise a toast to his life with a few beers and some personal remembrances.
I first met him, I would say maybe 92 when I moved to Houston. He was like, "Oh man, dude, man, I love your drumming. You gotta come, you gotta drum in our band." And the band was an art director's club band. It was called, what was it called, Mike? Strange Behavior. Yeah, thank you, Mike. Strange Behavior. And that's when I found out about Martin. I already knew he was an art director, you know, that kind of thing. But man, you know what really surprised me about Martin? He could play. The guy could, you know, took out his axe. He could play, man. I was like, oh my God, dude, you're awesome. You're great. He was full of surprises. One of the best friends I've ever had. He's been there for everything that I've ever done. He's never, not once, not known what I was doing. He was always interested in that, and he was interested in everyone else. Man, here's to you.
One of the things about Martin is he said he was always everybody's biggest fan, and that is so true. It doesn't matter what you're doing, he was at your show. He was digging your work. It didn't matter. But there's been a lot of talk about Martin and all the art he did and all the graphic design he did and all the music he did, and a little bit of talk about his cars. That one. That also was a huge piece of Martin, which became part of his art, became part of his graphic design. We went to Rosenberg. There was going to be a really cool car show. I was like, come on out. So it was like he entered his car, it was, you know, the Shark. It was beautiful. It was pristine. I mean, that guy was Q-tipping that thing before the show. And he entered the show and he was like, oh, I just came out to hang out and drink some beers. And Coronitos, that's what he loved during the car show. That was his drink. And so we sat there drinking, and then he got more and more excited about maybe getting something out of this. And he's like, oh, I think I can do it. I don't know, but there's a 63 split window over there. I don't know. And he went over the details of how that split, the details of that car and his car and the Corvette, every single Corvette in there. He knew every single detail. And came time for judging. We wandered up there, and he's like, man, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. You know, not gonna happen. I don't know, 63 is too tough. Can't beat that car. Everyone loves that car. So they finally got around to calling that award, which was the last one. The Corvette show, he won. First place. You should have seen the look on his face. It was literally jaw-dropping, and then I'd never seen him move so fast. It was like up there, he picked up his plaque, and that was it. And he just had the biggest grin on his face. I mean, that was part of Martin, the car, the automobile, the Octane. He loved it.
We were involved with ADCH, we're on the board of ADCH, and in 2004, we were looking for a fundraiser, and Carlos and I were actually on the board together, and we decided to do this car show art auction, and we called it the Texas Rock and Rod. And so we had a bunch of rockabilly bands and car guys come out, and we had an art auction as well. So of course, you know, Martin did these fantastic photorealism paintings of car details. And I said, hey, you know, would you mind donating one of those, you know, for the auction? And he's like, yeah, I'll come up with something. Anyway, the day came, and I saw him walk in the Continental Club, and he had something under his arms. And I said, hey man, what do you got for us? And he's like, well, it's not one of my paintings, but I got this, which I think is even better. So I give you the Hot Rod mailbox. So it went into the auction, and $200 later, I owned it.
Some of you may know Martin shared studio space with Larry McIntyre and I. That's been a while. And in the back, whenever he did his photorealism, whenever he was doing his paintings of the cars and things like that, this guy was so into this that he had the magnifying lens where he could see up close, you know. And if you look on some of those paintings, you will see his mirrored image in the bumpers and things like that. He got a kick out of that. He's like, yeah, that's me upside down and backwards and all that. And he would actually get find out the make and model of the car and buy that paint to paint those paintings. He told me, he was the one who told me this. He said he was a photorealist. He goes, photorealism is not an art form, it's a condition. And if you knew him, he definitely had that condition. One time I'd asked him to be my model. I was illustrating something for 7-Up, and they needed these secret agents type look that were saving a few presidents or something, so I thought he'd be perfect for it, right? So he comes over and I said, you're gonna need to eat a slice of pizza, you're gonna need to eat a hot dog. You know, it's this agent and he's like checking, you know, he's drinking his 7-Up and then he's eating something, and so I had him in all these poses. The guy wasn't a big guy, right? He told me what to get and where to get it, okay? The hot dog had to come from 59 Diner. The pizza had to come from so-and-so. And you don't hold it like this, you gotta hold it like this. That's how Italians do it. That's how we hold a pizza. That little guy ate everything. He ate everything. He ate the pizza, the hot dog, the sandwich, and I think there was something else. And I was just like, dang, man, where's this going? But he was obsessed. Even the details of the food had to be right. But super, super great friend. I am so grateful I got to see him in November. I actually went to the Blues for Food event and saw him because of him. And he just had the biggest smile again. Just, God, he's a great guy, and he will be missed.
I think I have the ultimate proof here that most of you can really understand is that the way I met Martin was I was a printing salesman, and I was out cold calling trying to find new business, and Martin was actually nice to me. We went out to lunch, started talking about music and so forth, and I had a disc of some of my original music in the car, and on the way back, he listened to it and he said the same thing like everybody said, oh wow, wow, hey, can I have that? And next thing I know is he's inviting me to be in a band with him and Mike Hart and Tim and a couple other people, and we were working towards, once again, putting together some songs to play at different graphics functions around town. I'm a part-time novelist, and he was so helpful with me in trying to make a break was that he had worked as a makeup artist on a film, I think it was called Bubba Hotep, years ago, and the writer was at Murder by the Book doing a book signing. But he, took me under his wing, took me out there, introduced me to Joe, gave him a signed copy of my book, and then when my newest novel came out about 8 months ago, he gave it to his wife, Lori, and next day I get this email going, oh my God, the lead character's name is Martin. Just wanted to really say, I mean, what a super guy, and a great friend to everybody, and just ditto to what everybody else has said. He'll be sorely missed.
I'm Sonny Boy. I've been good friends with Marty for 32 years. This is his godson. It's Chalice Mark Jerome II. But anyway, that's all. I've been talking about Marty around town. And he did a lot of good for a lot of people, and very close friend. Of course, I asked him to be a godfather to my kids, so that's how much he meant to me. Thank y'all.
I met Martin in the early 80s, and I was the office manager at Taylor Brown and Barnhill. And he was one of our young art directors. From the minute you met Martin, he had that electric smile. And every time you saw him, he had that same electric smile. It was not fake, it was real, and he made you feel it every time you spoke to him. And when he spoke to you, he spoke to you. He wasn't paying attention to what was around you, he spoke to you. I still remember, just like it was yesterday, when he came around to the women in the office and gave us all this little handmade Valentine that he had given to us, and it was just a series of little hearts in different colors. And it was just so beautiful and simple and sweet. But that just, to me, embodied who Martin was. Martin's passing really just caught me off guard. It was so sudden, and it's just very sad because he was really and truly a sweet soul with so many talents that he was willing to share with everybody. And to have somebody that was a true giver like Martin was, maybe we can all stop and reflect on that, be a little nicer to each other, flash that smile and remember.
The last memory of me and Martin is I said, it was as far as for me and Mike, and I said, dude, see ya, man. See you later. That was it. So, Man, I just want to close by saying thank you, and all of you, you know, remember who you're with tonight, you know, and think about the love that's in this room for Martin. And just remember what I said the last time I saw Martin, it was like, see you, dude. See you later. So.
Everybody, see you later.
See you later.